Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, your weekly dose of One Piece greatness. We are breaking down chapter 1148, 30 Seconds to the Underworld.
And 30 seconds has never felt longer.
Or shorter. I don't even know where to begin. My heart is still pounding. We knew Elbaph was going to be a massive arc, but I don't think anyone was prepared for the absolute legend who just walked back into the story.
He didn't just walk in, he arrived like a thunderclap, the man himself.
Scopper Gaban is here, and he is not playing around. If you've been waiting for the old guard, the real titans of the last generation, to finally step back into the fight, you are going to want to follow this journey with us. Do yourself a favor and ring that subscribe bell so you do not miss what happens next.
It feels like the final act has truly begun. Let's get into it because a lot happened before that final, unbelievable moment.
It all starts with the kids. Oda immediately puts us right back into that tension. The giant children are trapped on that branch, and one of them, a little girl named Ronja, starts to walk off on one of Gunko's arrows.
She's trying to be brave. You can see her trying to hold it together, telling everyone she's okay, but then she looks down.
And it's just nothing. An endless fall. The panel of her looking down with just the swirling clouds below. Oda is a master of conveying that stomach-dropping feeling of vertigo. That's when the fear hits. And of course, that's the exact moment the Knights of God decide to turn the screws. This guy, Gunko, just reports in like he's ordering a pizza. The first sacrifice is ready.
The sheer banality of his cruelty is what makes it so chilling. There's no maniacal laughter, no grandstanding. It's just a job to him, a task to be completed.
And then we get the ultimatum from Saint Sommers. 30 seconds. He gives the giant king, Jarul, 30 seconds to order the destruction of their school and their great library, or the child falls.
Let's really break down the choice he presents. It is an act of profound psychological warfare. It isn't just obey me or the child dies. It's destroy your own legacy, your own identity, or this child dies because of your refusal. He's forcing them to become the agents of their own cultural destruction.
It is one of the most disgusting, cowardly threats we have ever seen in this series. And that is saying something. We've seen Doflamingo make a whole country fight itself. We've seen Akainu melt people's faces off for deserting. We've seen Kaido boil a man alive for an hour. This, to me, is somehow worse. It's not just physical violence, it's soul-crushing. He's trying to break their spirit on a fundamental level.
It's because the threat isn't just about killing a child. It's about what they're demanding in exchange. It's a choice between a life and a culture, a future represented by Ronja versus a past represented by the library. Sommers is forcing them to choose which part of themselves they will kill.
And the giants are just torn apart by it. You see these massive, proud warriors, people who would charge headfirst into a volcano, just frozen. Some are shouting that they can't destroy the library, that it holds 1,000 years of their history, the words of their ancestors. Others are screaming that a child's life is more important than any book.
It's the ultimate dilemma. What is a culture without its people? But what are a people without their culture, their history? That is the question the world government has been asking for 800 years. They erase the history, and the people who remain are much easier to control. We see it in the faces of the giants. They're not just arguing about a building, they are arguing about the very essence of what it means to be a giant of Elbaph.
And then one of them says the quiet part out loud. The real question is whether they will comply at all, whether they will bend the knee and become servants of the world government, because that's the real prize for Sommers. It's not about the building, it's about submission.
It's an impossible choice, designed to create division and chaos. You can feel the panic ripple through all of Elbaph, and that's when our Robin steps up.
My Robin. I've been waiting for this. She knows she can't win. She knows this guy is functionally immortal, but she can't just stand there and watch. Not her. Not after everything.
You can feel the fury just pouring off her. She's trembling. Oda draws these subtle lines around her, this aura of barely contained rage. This isn't just a strategic decision for her. This is personal.
Nami's right there with her, acting as the voice of basic human dignity, just screaming at Sommers that even the worst criminals wouldn't stoop to killing a child.
Nami is the heart of the crew in moments like this. She's saying what we're all thinking. It's a gut reaction. But Sommers, he doesn't even register it.
But Sommers doesn't care. To him, this isn't about cruelty, it's about efficiency. He's an aristocrat swatting a fly. He has no concept of what Nami is even talking about. Her plea is like a foreign language to him. It's that disconnect, that complete lack of empathy that truly defines the celestial dragons.
And he makes it even worse. He tells them when they burn the library, they have to leave the books inside. It's not about destroying a building. He says it plainly. We want to destroy your history and culture completely.
And that was the final line. That was the trigger. For anyone else, it's a monstrous statement. But for Nico Robin, it is a declaration of war against her entire existence.
It's Ohara. It's the Buster Call. It's the Tree of Knowledge burning. It's Professor Clover, her mother, Saul. It's everything she has ever lost. Everything she has fought to protect being threatened right in front of her again.
He didn't just threaten a child. He threatened the concept of history itself. In front of Nico Robin, it's like threatening the sea in front of Jinbei or meat in front of Luffy. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of who you're dealing with, a fatal miscalculation.
Cien Fleur Crispadia, a giant hand sprouts and just crushes him. And listen, this isn't the elegant, beautiful Robin we sometimes see. This isn't a graceful clutch or a subtle submission hold. This is raw, unrestrained, furious power. She restrains him with 4 massive arms and you hear the snap. Oda gives us that sound effect. She breaks his back.
She breaks blood. The panel shows a trickle of it from his mouth. For a second, you think maybe that's it. Maybe raw, focused rage was enough. Maybe the sheer force of her conviction could overcome his unnatural ability.
The crew is cheering. I was cheering. Usopp and Nami are screaming her name. For just that second, that glorious, beautiful second, you think she did it. You think the good guys finally got a clean, satisfying win against one of these monsters. But then he just fixes himself.
The sound effect is even more sickening than the break. It's a series of clicks and snaps as his spine realigns. He just stands back up, snaps everything back into place, and says, 20 seconds left. He doesn't even acknowledge the attack. He just continues the countdown. The sheer psychological damage of that moment. I mean, come on. To give your absolute all, to pour all of your pain and history and rage into one single perfect attack and have the enemy just shrug it off? It's a level of despair that could break most people.
But this is why Robin is one of the most dangerous people on the crew. It's not just about her power, it's about her brain. She immediately pivots. The moment she saw him regenerate, she had a new plan. There was no hesitation, no moment of despair. There was only a recalculation of the threat.
That's our Robin. Plan A fails, go straight to Plan B. No time to cry about it.
She didn't try to beat him. She tried to remove him from the equation. That's the key. She understood that victory wasn't about defeating him in a fight. It was about stopping his influence on the current crisis.
A clone of her just tackles him right off the branch, a full-on suicide dive, taking him down into the abyss with her. It's one of the most brilliant self-sacrificial plays we have ever seen. It's something you'd expect from Zoro or Sanji, this take the hit for the crew mentality. But to see Robin do it so decisively, so cleverly, it's just super.
And Sommers even commends her for it. As he's stabbing the clone with his thorns, which is a horrifying visual in itself, he acknowledges how clever it was. He says something like, a commendable tactic. Her goal wasn't to kill him, it was to get his invisible thorn field away from the other children so they could be rescued. She was buying time and creating an opening for her friends.
While he's distracted, the real Robin is already over with the rest of the crew, trying to cut the arrows they're trapped on. She is always thinking 3 steps ahead. That's our archaeologist. She used her own clone as a decoy and was already working on the next part of the problem.
But the arrows can't be cut. It's not a simple material. I think I remember trying to use a knife on them and it just couldn't make a scratch. This implies that Gunko's arrows are infused with some kind of hockey or devil fruit property that makes them indestructible to conventional means. They realize they have to take him down to break free. It's another layer to the trap.
And it doesn't even matter because Sommers just uses his powers to stop his own fall. He climbs back up the air itself, creating footholds out of nothing, and lands back on the branch like nothing happened. 10 seconds.
The hope from that moment just evaporates. It was a brilliant plan, perfectly executed, but against this kind of power, it only bought them a few seconds. The despair comes rushing back in, twice as strong this time. You can see it on Nami's face, on all their faces. They're out of options.
And in those final 10 seconds, the focus goes back to the little girl, Ronja. It's just brutal. Gunko tells her to say something, to scream, to beg for her life, to put that final unbearable pressure on Jarul. He wants her to break, to make this as painful as possible for the giants.
And what she says, it broke my heart. It's one of those classic Oda moments where the smallest character shows the most profound strength.
Me too. She's crying, she's terrified, but she looks at her king and says she loves school because that's where her friends are. She loves the library, and the one thing she learned from all those books is not to cause trouble for other people.
The very knowledge they're being asked to burn is what gives her the strength to face death. It's such a beautiful, tragic irony. She says if they have to burn everything she loves just to save her, she would rather fall. She understood the weight of the choice better than any of the adults.
I'll be okay. I'm a lucky girl. She says that while tears are streaming down her face. This little girl has more honor and bravery than a knight of God. She embodies the spirit of Elbaph, the spirit of pride and camaraderie more than any of the adults arguing in that moment.
It's the ultimate innocence. She's willing to die so her friends don't have to be sad about losing their school. And that purity, that selflessness, is what finally breaks Jarul. He can't let her perfect, noble spirit be the reason for her death.
He can't let her sacrifice mean nothing. He roars, this sound of pure anguish, and gives the order. He tells Ange, another giant, to burn it all down.
You can see the agony on his face. He chose the child over the history. And in that moment, you see Robin just break. Oda gives us a close-up on her face. Tears are in her eyes as she watches this happen. It's her worst nightmare come to life again, and she was powerless to stop it. She failed. That's what she's feeling.
And that's when Sommers makes his move. He's won. He broke their will. But it's not enough. He comes back for Robin, restrains her with his power, and you can tell he's going for the kill. He recognizes her. He says her name, Nico Robin. He knows exactly who she is and what she represents. For the world government, she's a bigger threat than the library.
This is the lowest point. The plan has failed, the history is about to be erased, the child is still in peril, Robin is captured. It feels completely, utterly hopeless. It's one of the darkest moments we've had in a long, long time.
And then we hear it. A single sound, a slice, a clean, perfect sound. Shing!
Sommers' right arm just falls to the ground. It lands with a soft thud.
And he looks at it. He's not in pain, he's just confused. He's just staring at his own severed limb on the floor. He's waiting. And for the first time, it doesn't regenerate.
It just lies there, and the look on his face shifts from arrogance to shock, and then from shock to pure, undiluted terror. This is the first time we have ever seen a Knight of God look truly afraid.
He knows that sound. He knows that kind of cut. He looks up and he's there. My man, the copper, Scopper Gaban.
The left hand of the Pirate King.
He looks exactly like you'd hope. Older, scarred, long white hair tied back, but that same look in his eyes from the Odin flashback. He's got his 2 axes, and he is radiating killing intent. Not just regular hockey. This is pure, focused, I am going to end you energy. Sommers recognizes him instantly. He's not just seeing a strong fighter, he's seeing a ghost from a history they tried to erase.
And Gaban doesn't say a word. He just looks at Sommers with this expression of absolute righteous fury. And then he swings again.
A devastating slash right across the chest. Bro, that is how you make an entrance. No grand speech, no posing, no I am Scopper Gaban, just action. He saw the situation, saw a child in danger, saw one of his captain's allies about to be killed, and he just ended the threat. This was super.
Okay, but we have to talk about what this means. This is the most important part of the chapter. The arm did not regenerate. Sommers is supposed to be immortal, or at least have regeneration at the level of a Gorosei. What kind of power, what kind of hockey can just turn that off?
It has to be hockey. It has to be an application of conquerors or armament that we have never, ever seen before. This isn't just coating yourself in armor. This is something else. Roger's crew was on another level. Their top fighters weren't relying on all these crazy devil fruits. They had hockey that could conquer the world. This is what it looks like. Gaban didn't just cut his arm. He cut off his ability to heal.
This changes everything we thought we knew about the top tiers. We assumed the only way to deal with an immortal opponent was to incapacitate them, like with the Seraphim, or maybe submerge them in the ocean. Gaban just broke the rules. He found a fundamental loophole in their power.
He didn't break the rules, he plays by a different set of them. The Roger Pirates fought the Rocks Pirates. They fought Prime Whitebeard. They fought Shiki. They saw what real monsters looked like. To Gaban, someone like Sommers who relies on a cheap regeneration trick is just an arrogant child playing with power he doesn't deserve.
And the fear in Sommers' eyes is the most telling part. He's a knight of God. He should fear nothing. But he looks at Gaban like he's looking at death itself. This implies they have a history. The Knights of God and the Roger Pirates have clashed before. This isn't their first meeting.
This is probably what happened at God Valley. The Marines and the Roger Pirates teaming up. This has to be it. The Roger Pirates pulling up and just dismantling the people who thought they were untouchable. Gaban is a living, breathing reminder of the day the gods learned to bleed. Sommers isn't just afraid of Gaban. He's afraid of the memory Gaban represents.
It also recontextualizes Rayleigh's presence at Sabaody. We were all blown away when he stopped an admiral with a casual sword draw. Now we see Gaban stopping an immortal knight of God just as effortlessly. The power of Roger's 2 wings was truly monstrous. They weren't just a strong right and left hand. They were masters of 2 different, equally terrifying aspects of combat.
And think about this. Gaban has just been chilling on Elbaph, presumably. We didn't see him when Shanks was there, so he must keep a low profile. He's been watching all of this unfold. What finally made him step out of the shadows? Seeing them threaten a child and go after Nico Robin. He's protecting the next generation and his captain's legacy.
He's protecting the key to finding the One Piece. He, more than anyone besides Rayleigh, understands Robin's importance to the world and to Luffy's journey. Seeing a Knight of God, a direct agent of the people who murdered the scholars of Ohara, try to execute her on Elbaph, that must have been the final straw. He's not just interfering, he's upholding a promise to his captain.
Oda, you absolute madman. You bring back a legend we've been waiting decades to see in action, give him one of the coldest entrances in the entire series, and completely redefine the power ceiling all in the span of 3 pages. Unbelievable.
A truly perfect chapter. The emotional weight of Ronja's speech, the tactical brilliance of Robin's gambit, and the sheer, earth-shattering hype of Gaban's return. It's a symphony of everything that makes One Piece great.
I could talk about that last panel all day. The look on Gaban's face, pure righteous anger, the kind of anger you only see when someone truly good is forced to unleash their power on something truly evil. It's not angry like Luffy gets, which is explosive. It's a cold, hard, ancient anger.
It's the face of a man who has seen the horrors of the world government up close at God Valley and has zero patience left for their games. He's done watching.
Whew. Okay, my voice is shot. Before we get into predictions, what Gaban did without saying a single word was deafening. Let us know down in the comments what you think his first words are going to be in the next chapter. And hey, if you liked the breakdown, a thumbs up always helps.
All right, Franky, what do you have for next week? Give me your predictions.
Okay, prediction 1. Gaban is going to explain very briefly how he's doing what he's doing. He'll say something like, your cheap tricks don't work on those who've sailed the grand line to its end. It's not the devil fruit he's negating, it's the life force or whatever secret is powering the Gorosei and the Holy Knights. He's cutting the source.
Interesting. A haki that targets the soul, perhaps. A direct counter to abilities that aren't tied to a traditional devil fruit. I like that. What's your second?
My second is about the other giants. Dory and Brogy are on their way to the kids. I think they're going to arrive at the exact moment Ainge is about to set fire to the school, and their appearance, these legends of Elbaph, will be what stops her. It'll be a classic Oda just-in-time moment to prevent the tragedy.
A clash of generations. The old heroes returning to remind the new ones what they truly fight for. That fits perfectly. Your third?
My third, we are going to get a single flashback panel, just one. It'll be from Sommers' perspective, showing a younger Gaban and maybe Roger during the God Valley incident, and it'll explain why he is so utterly terrified of him. It'll frame the Roger pirates as the boogeymen of the celestial dragons.
Ooh, a memory of trauma. A peek behind the curtain of their arrogance. That would be fantastic. Okay, my turn.
Hit me with the lore, Robin.
Prediction 1. Gaban is not going to have a long, drawn-out fight with Sommers. He's going to finish it in the first few pages of the next chapter. The purpose of this encounter isn't to show a struggle, it's to establish a new ceiling and show how far above the Holy Knights the old legends truly are. Sommers is a measuring stick, and he's about to be broken.
I love that. A complete and utter takedown. No contest. What else?
Second, Gaban will be the one to free the Straw Hats from the arrows. His haki, the same one that can nullify immortality, will be able to just slice right through Gunko's power-infused arrows, freeing Robin and the others instantly. He'll solve the entire problem in under a minute.
A total problem solver. Walks in, neutralizes the enemy, frees the hostages. That's a King's crewmate euphoria. Last one?
My third prediction, Gaban is going to look directly at Robin after dealing with Sommers, and he's going to say something that only she would understand. Something about Odin, or the poneglyphs, or what they found at Laughtail, confirming that he knows exactly who she is and that he's been waiting for her.
Oh man, the passing of the torch. He's not just saving a pirate, he's greeting the carrier of the world's history. That would be an all-timer of a moment. And with that, another incredible chapter is in the books.
The dawn is coming and some of its oldest guardians are finally waking up.